Baldur's Gate 3 developers Larian Studios are no longer good guy developer number one after CEO Sven Vinka confirmed they are using AI in some parts of their development. Welcome to Inside Games Daily, the only gaming news show that's brave enough to have seen this happen before many times.
Yeah, this is becoming eerily similar to another favorite developer that had the audacity to release a game that wasn't quite finished. Anyway, we'll get into that in a moment, and maybe you're already thinking it. But here's the thing, right? AI sucks. I get it. I don't want to hear about it. I don't like it. But it also seems like we might be arriving a little bit early at this crash out phase where we're all suffering from gamers' weird need to form codependent relationships with game devs. It might be a bit of a mountain out of a molehill, but we got some drama to tell you about.
Oh boy. So Vinka said the two-letter dirty word AI in an interview published yesterday with Bloomberg's Jason Schreier.
Yeah, to be fair, the interview isn't all about AI. In fact, very little of it is really referencing AI. It's just the way it is and the wording. We'll get there in a minute. But there are some other newsworthy elements to this interview, and this is the news. So let's summarize them real quick right before we get into the tea.
Yeah, all right. So first off, Larian actually was working on a follow-up Dungeons & Dragons game, but decided to switch because the devs were not excited about it.
That's cool. That's good motivation. They're also using an entirely new engine for Divinity, so that's interesting.
Yeah, and they're hoping to have Divinity done in 3 to 4 years versus Baldur's Gate 3's 6 years of development.
Very long development, but also a very, very big game. And now the AI hairs are starting to stand up. How do you make a game that's bigger or just as big in less time? Well, yeah, you guessed it. The interview also says, and this is kind of unfortunately courtesy of Schreier's commentary, this is Bloomberg's paraphrasing here, that, quote, Larian has been pushing hard on generative AI under Vinka as CEO.
So Schreier said that, not Sven Vinka.
That's not a direct quote. That is a paraphrase leading into a quote. So yeah, that's Schreier interpreting the situation basically as a writer, which is, hey, that's normal. Journalists do that. That's typically how stories flow. I just want to be fair to this part of it. I've got issues that I'll get into. This part's still in bounds, I think. But you could argue the wording for sure.
Yeah, all right. So the interview specifies that Larian's developers use AI to, quote, explore ideas, flesh out PowerPoint presentations, develop concept art, and write placeholder text.
Seems just the stuff, right? Yeah. Vinka also insists that when it comes to Divinity, quote, everything is human actors. We're writing everything ourselves.
Okay. He even acknowledged that some developers inside Larian aren't thrilled to use AI in game development, but that, quote, I think at this point, everyone at the company is more or less okay with the way we're using it, meaning AI.
Yeah. So, yeah, if you stack all that together, it doesn't feel very good. And I think that's kind of the core here. You have the article saying that Vinka, as CEO, is pushing AI. He's saying it's not really resulting in a whole lot of efficiency gains in development. And also his employees are kind of getting used to it and kind of accepting it. Like that sort of verbiage is not what you want to hear from a game studio you may have invested a lot of hope into.
That's the key word there, Lawrence, because I never invested hope. So when I heard him talk about AI, I was like, I don't give a fuck. Yeah, you're probably forcing it. So generally speaking, the comments don't sound great. I didn't have too much of a problem with what he was saying, but then the more that I read about it, the more I was like, ooh, and I started doing this thing. I started pulling my collar out because I knew, because it did not go over well with the fans and even other game developers. We'll get to the game devs in a second.
Yeah, that's when the subject matter starts to jump around a bit. So first with the fan reaction, which is not great. And again, on Reddit, we're all intelligent people gather to comment on things. Okay, Inside 8062 writes, quote, I cannot wait for this stupid fucking bubble to burst. This is beyond disappointing.
Van Dristine says the comments are, quote, so disappointing from Sven. And that, quote, this article proved Gen AI is garbage because despite pushback by people in the company, but executives are like, no, everyone likes it now because they'll lose their jobs if they don't.
A good reason to convince yourself to like something. Sure, yeah. Goman1717 notes that even this negative reaction is more muted than most, commenting that they, quote, can't help but to imagine what this thread would look like if this was coming from anyone other than Sven Vinka. Lol.
That's a really good point, actually. I didn't even think about that. So to potentially clear any stake Jason Schreier might have had in the hubbub for editorializing that Vinka was, quote, this is from Schreier, pushing hard on generative AI. The Bloomberg writer posted the expanded transcript of the interview on Blue Sky yesterday afternoon.
So that's something. Clears some amount of air. Vinka also followed up by providing a diplomatic statement to IGN, and and posting a much less diplomatic version of the same message to X, really. I'll take the IGN one. All right. The IGN statement reads, quote, "We are neither releasing a game with any AI components, nor are we looking at trimming down teams to replace them with AI."
Okay, and then Sven's X post opens with, because it's pretty long, quote, "Holy fuck, guys, we're not pushing hard for or replacing concept artists with AI."
I like the holy fuck. I mean, but yeah, he's probably pretty shocked at how quickly the winds have turned on him. But just for fun, because the direct quote here, I think, means something. Hey, what did that Bloomberg article say again? Let's pull up that quote. What's between those quotations?
So Schreier said, under Vinca, Larian has been pushing hard on generative AI, although the CEO says the technology hasn't led to big gains in efficiency. Now, again, that's from Jason Schreier.
Yeah, I just wanted to check. I don't know it. Maybe I'm assuming too much, but between the lines there, given that he's saying we are not, quote, doing the thing the Bloomberg article said we are doing, to me that's a bit of, hey, that's not cool. I don't know. The fact that he's directly refuting what the article is saying is interesting, and I don't know. I got more opinions about that, but I'll book him until I'll put him on the back until we get to the end of the story.
All right, yeah. So Vinca goes on to say that Larian employs 72 real living human artists, 23 of which are concept artists, and they intend to hire more.
Yeah, that's great. He clarifies, and this is, like Bruce said, a pretty long post, but I think it's pretty important. Quote, "I was asked explicitly about concept art and our use of Gen AI. I answered that we use it to explore things. I didn't say we use it to develop concept art. The artists do that, and they are indeed world-class artists. We use AI tools to explore references just like we use Google and art books. At the very early ideation stages, we use it as a rough outline for composition, which we replace with original concept art. There is no comparison."
Okay, I mean, I feel like that might clarify a little bit. The shift in political winds has invited more critique of Larian, of course, this time from game developers frustrated with the company's hiring process.
Yeah, and this is a different subject, just to be clear, but still, it doesn't sound great, and it does seem to be opening up some more dark aspects of the company. So Julie Muncy posted on Blue Sky, quote, "If you see narrative people being meaner about Larian than it sounds like they deserve, trust me, we've been waiting for this one."
Whoa, oh my gosh. Okay, there's a lot of I bet people are talking shit behind their backs and behind closed doors. I didn't realize. Bruno Diaz decries that, quote, "Everyone in games narrative circles has heard the stories at this point, thanks to insane amounts of unpaid work in writing tests," end quote, "excessive numbers of interviews, months and months of back and forth, etc."
Yeah, which doesn't sound great, but also, it's a slow hiring process as they happen. However, it gets worse though. Self-claimed Baldur's Gate 3 and Mind's Eye, developer Hash Bandicoot, which is a fantastic name, even shared a very troubling story of a workplace assault at Larian Studios. So that's not great at all. And that's on a different order than the hiring process was frustrating and long and drawn out. So that's obviously, like, I have really no comment aside from that. It's terrible. But you can see how a lot of stuff stays pent up until people feel like the atmosphere is a little kinder to come out with certain information. And I don't know if this is just the start or this is the end or whatever, but these are the dynamics at play here. And again, without vouching for any of those very serious accusations, we have seen this pattern before, haven't we, in game devs? Unfortunately, history has proven many times that it's not the greatest idea to invest your hopes into a business, despite believing in the sainthood of its leaders. Valve's included in this, so please start developing your emotional independence. But yes, this does kind of fit a pattern, and namely that's explosively successful CEOs that feel like they may have figured something out, and that thing they figured out has given them immunity from the same forces that affect everyone else. So, Sven, if you're listening to this, you make some great games, and I appreciate that, but there's no reason to talk. I'm sorry. It feels great when everyone agrees with you, but they'll only do that for so long, and to some degree, they look forward to the day in the future when they can eat you alive. And there's been people waiting. whether that's justified or not, whether they had to wait for the right moment to say what they needed to say. This is just what happens. It comes with success and it comes with growth. You're going to have haters. You're going to have people that have gotten hurt along the way. Just please don't tell yourself, don't go to sleep every night thinking that you've got the sauce and that inoculates you from the internet, because they will come for your ass and they will do it gleefully. And historically, that gives us a cautionary tale for the future. Okay. All right. Cyberpunk came out, was buggy as hell. Everyone was like, Witcher 3 wasn't like that. It was, and everyone ate CD Projekt alive, and a lot of people had a lot of fun doing it. We're basically set for the exact same thing happening in, let's say, 4 years with Divinity. It's going to come out in early access. It's going to be buggy. It's going to be small, and everyone's going to compare it to Baldur's Gate 3 at its best and say, how they've fallen off. It's because AI. It's because AI, Sven Vinka turned on us. He was supposed to make good games, and this is AI garbage, and so just prepare for that. And maybe if you're hearing me now, 4 years from now, that thought will still rattle around in your brain, and you'll be prepared. You'll have your emotional investments in safe places, like I don't know, stuffed animals. They make gunpla kits are really cool. You could really get into those. But yeah, maybe not companies. I don't know, Bruce. What's your read on all this?
Oh man, Lawrence, I'm going to be one of those people who have been sitting on this for quite a long time. I don't have any very specific stories about Sven Vinka or Larian. However, there are many things. I said to Lawrence, not on the show, but I said to Lawrence off the show, over the years, Sven Vinka would not shut the fuck up. He was constantly talking about how this game screwed up and this other game screwed up. Basically, like since he was the poster child of success, indie success with Baldur's Gate 3 and Larian, I would see him then comment on other video games. And I was like, the more that I listened to him, the more I was like, okay, man, like other video games can be made. They can have mistakes. Like it's no big deal. I was just tired of hearing him talk about other video games and about all the missteps they made. Well, bad news. He's made a pretty large misstep here. And this is something, again, I did say on this show years ago. When Baldur's Gate 3 came out in early access, it was garbage. It didn't work. It was like all the networking was terrible. The story was broken. You couldn't do any of the things you could do when the game was in full launch, like 1.0 or whatever it was. It took them 2 years to get to 1.0. And I felt like a crazy person when people are like, Baldur's Gate 3 is the greatest video game of all time. It's like, it's been 2 years in early access. They've been working on it for 2 years and you could buy it. I did. I bought it. So the same thing is going to happen with Divinity. Now, the problem is Sven Vink, like you said, has given them a scapegoat, which is they're going to go and be AI. It's AI. It's Sven Vink's fault. It's AI. And then he's going to take some real abuse. And I, for the record, really love Baldur's Gate 3. I really love Larian Studios. But Lawrence and I have learned this lesson countless times working at countless companies. Shut the fuck up. Just make your video game, and if you succeed, pat yourself on the back in private. Go give your employees bonuses. Tell everybody they did a great job, but don't go preaching to the press about how great you are, because I promise you, they're going to come for you. Like Lauren said, they're going to come for you as soon as you make one misstep, and they're actually looking for you now. When they see you do that kind of stuff, they're starting to think to themselves, well, I need to bring this guy down as fast as possible. So, Sven, just stop. Go back to make your video game. If it releases and it's great, awesome. I'm so excited for you. Again, give your employees bonuses, pat yourself on the back, then go make another video game.
Yeah, gosh, I remember Sven was the one who gave that impassioned speech at the Game Awards, right? About, I know what the game of the year is going to look like every year from now. And he described a lot of general virtues in games, all right? So it was a nice speech, but maybe this is just the cynic in me. When that was happening, first of all, I was drunk as hell. But second of all, I was like, 3 years from now, people are going to hate you. And it won't be your fault. Maybe it'll be your fault. But like, if you have to do everything perfect from now until you die, or you're going to be on the menu. For people, honestly, like people like us, it's good for business when game devs open their mouths. And honestly, in a non-cynical way, I wish there were more communication between game developers and game players. But yeah, then we have situations like this where the drama is more savory than the reality. And to that point, the spicy drama. Yeah, I don't think the wording was great. I think it's a bit disingenuous for Schreier to pretend like he didn't know that that was going to like read a certain way, or maybe he's oblivious. But either way, it's not good either way. I think either he knew what he was doing and he's pretending not to, which means he's being a bit cowardly and trying to save face, or to give him as much credit as possible, he writes for a business audience. You know, he writes for investors, and investors want to know that they're pushing hard on AI. So that phrase is business as usual to the right audience, but fans are not the right audience anymore. He's usually a bit better about being aware of both of those audiences. He's always been business oriented since he started writing for Bloomberg. I don't have a problem with that. Makes sense. But I do think he takes liberties with editorialization, is something that I brought up before. I remember pitching a fit when what was it, like 22? He wrote some article about dissent inside Sony Studios about their unwillingness to greenlight any original games. May have been true, but it had 0 quotes in it. And he was sourcing all these anonymous people, but paraphrasing them all. And at the time, and even now, I was like, you got to watch out.
Quotes are vital. You know, it means that someone aside from the writer is telling the story. Even if they're anonymous, quotes still mean that there is someone who's giving you their information as opposed to the writer interpreting it or collecting a bunch of mentions from who knows who, saying who knows what for who knows what reason.
You got to watch out, bud. Like you can't use other people's words as your own and also dodge any of the responsibility involved with that, which seems like what he's trying to do. So I don't know. I've had my issues in the past. I have my issue with this. Problem is, it's kind of a good interview apart from that particular phrasing, which I think just got really loose and maybe temporarily forgot the temperature of the room.
Yeah, Lawrence, you're right. Jason Schreier hopefully learned a lesson, maybe. And hopefully he's texting Sven Vinka being like, I am so sorry. I did not mean to throw you under the bus, because this is going to be weeks of Sven taking, verbal abuse online. And I'm not saying you should do any of that, but it's going to happen to him. And I kind of feel bad for him now at this point. I mean, he's a CEO. That's what he does. He has to look at future technologies. So either way, we hope this all kind of smooths over quickly. So thank you very much for watching Inside Games. We still don't use AI to make the show, which is, by the way, why it takes so long to come out. I'll be honest with you, Lawrence. I've been working on an editor and hosts that are all AI, and in that way, I don't have to do nothing. I just turn it on, we spit it out, and we spit out a video every hour.
Yeah, any headline that reaches like page 2 of Google, no matter how accurate or not, it's going up. The Bruce and Lawrence bots are here to read regurgitated AI slop to you. No, this is all genuine. Yes, hopefully watching human-produced content makes you feel good. Hey, if it makes you feel really, really good, feel free to check out our Patreon, please. We use that to make this show and pay the humans that help us to make it. Some folks are so Team Human that they're already supporting us, so thank you very much, Dreamweaver, George the Beer Villain, and Jambers87. You guys put the U in human. Does that work?
I mean, you could say put the man in human.
Well, we don't know that they're man. Guess that could work.